All right, here we are. We are with Annie Mitchell, and we are diving into servant leadership. And before we get there, I just want to introduce myself, Don Reby from Excellence in Analytics. And this is our Tribe of Excellence Facebook community. And so, usually every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we go live with a new topic of the week relative to leadership development and wellness. And so this week is a fun week because it's actually April 1st, April Fool's Day, and Facebook has played a little fool on me and completely shut down our Facebook access. So instead, we are here on Zoom. So you are likely listening to the recording of this. And so I'm thankful that you're here listening to this with us. And Annie and I are both wiping the sweat off because we just tried to get on 4 times. But here we are. And so the Tribe of Excellence Facebook community is this great deposit of almost 1,000 people who, are in a variety of industries, a lot of law enforcement and other public sector, small business owners, doctors, nurses, lawyers, all kinds of folks who come together to really build up their leadership. Right? Leadership of self and leadership of team. And so today I'm really excited to talk with Annie about exactly how to do that through servant leadership and what that all means. Before we dive into Annie and what she's sharing with us, I have one more thing to share with you. It is April. It is the first of the month. And on the first of the month, we always talk about what's going on in the month. And I'm really excited to share all the stuff that's going on in April. Check out our calendar. That's always pinned to the top of the page. And it shares with you everything that's going on for the whole month. The theme of the month, which this month is resilience, right? Resilience in leadership. And also it provides all the links to all the registrations. And so one of the things that we're doing this month, which is pretty amazing, is our productivity masterclass, our 4-day productivity masterclass. So a lot of times supervisors and small business owners and even people who don't run teams often find themselves go, 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 work, 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 push, push, push. And what happens with that is we, become less productive and more busy, right? We want to flip that around and become more productive and less busy. We want to, create synergies and create alignment with that bigger picture, that bigger vision. So for those of you who've never been to a masterclass like this before, it's phenomenal. The energy is wild and crazy. We go live every day for 4 days, right, in April. Check the calendar in the registration links. We're going to go live every day starting, I think it's somewhere around April 20th, that week of April 20th. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern. And when you register, right, using those links in the calendar, you're going to be given a workbook. Right, so print that workbook out, or certainly have it electronic if you want to save the trees, right? And follow along with us every day. Submit your homework in our units, right, which are now called guides in Facebook. Submit your homework in our entire team. We have 6 amazing people. Our entire team, well, 7 including me. Our team will support you and your growth along the way. If you are a supervisor, right, or you lead a team of people, we have a special book just for you that can help guide your team through this. So your team can get a workbook, and then you can get a workbook too. Just go ahead and reach out to me personally, and or Caroline Collins, and either one of us will give that to you. So don't miss it. It's fun every time we do it. The energy is wild and crazy, and inevitably you will get much more aligned with the bigger vision, and you will eliminate a lot of that spinning that we talked about and really get centered and focused and focused on results. So I invite you to register right after this, not right now. We got an important thing for you right here, but right after this, you want to register for that 4-day productivity masterclass and commit, because you deserve it. You deserve to learn the time management skills and the productivity skills that are going to get you to where you want to go. All right. So today we have the amazing Annie with us today. I'm so happy that you're here, Annie. And Annie runs teams and has run teams of 80 plus people where, they were kind of spread out everywhere and decentralized. And she had to figure out a way to get them to all operate in unison. So she's going to share some really great tips with you. She also knows what it's like to go from the ground up, right? And run into and turn into leadership, right? By climbing the ranks and climbing the ropes, and how to manage from the people from above and the people below. Well, I guess not below. Let's say in alignment, right? And and get everybody communicating effectively together. So Annie and I, go way back. We'll share some stories with you, but she has a beautiful resume filled with tons of executive training on building infrastructure, particularly in the law enforcement arena. But it certainly applies to all arenas, building analytical capacity in law enforcement throughout, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, IATLIST, BJA, and probably a ton of other acronyms, as well as owning her own business with her partner, where they help train other folks to actually implement the tactics that she teaches. So welcome, Annie. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you so much, Dawn. And with that said, given all the problems we had with Facebook, I know that you were very, very frustrated, but I've been retired almost 3 years now. And so I've been taking a lot of classes on hacking. So you can move aside now. I'm now taking over your established business. That was part of my evil plan. And we are no longer going to be called the Tribe of Excellence. We're going to be called the Minions of Annie.
The Minions of Annie. I love it. I love it.
I like it too.
So Annie is playing another April Fool's joke on me. For those of you who are like, what happened? We are not live. Yes, technology took over and took over our account on Facebook for just a little time. We'll be back on pretty soon, but we are here now. But no more April Fool's joke. That's the end. I'm afraid there's like toothpaste in my shoes or something at this point.
Poor Don. And I want to make this very clear to all of you. This was not a senior moment on my part. I was in from the very beginning and she could not see me. So I just want you guys to all know that I was on point with this thing.
She was on point.
Yes. Okay.
And so Annie and I met quite some time ago. I heard one of her, is it okay to share this story, Annie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was working, I started about 15 or so years ago at this one particular agency, and my world was kind of spinning. And, and I remember I saw this recorded training of this woman who was like just this angel of energy. And I think it was maybe building analytical capacity or some kind of training like that. And I remember sitting in awe, just being like, I need to meet this woman. Like, I need this woman in my life. She is my official mentor, even though she doesn't even know, mentee, mentor. I'm the mentee.
You're the mentee.
Even though she doesn't know me yet, she's gonna. And so she's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. And I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, I have this group of people who meet, once a year. And if you could come and just talk to them, if you inspire them an eighth of the amount that you inspired me, right, then you would have knocked their socks off. Next thing you know it, Annie was on a plane out to the East Coast. We were down at the Cape, and she presented to our crew and inspired everyone. And it's been amazing ever since, huh?
Yes, it has. I'd like to add a little bit to that. It was actually, it was a great conversation I had with Dawn. I mean, as a leader, it speaks to, some of the things I'm going to talk about, but I didn't realize that I actually was inspiring people. You don't know that you're inspiring people, especially it was in the early days where I had someone that just, he set up a whole studio and he did it, live, and then it was recorded and he sent it out. And so always know that you can be inspiring others and you may never know. So you just speak with what you know, you speak from your heart. But what I didn't know when I got to Cape Cod was I was the keynote, and I had no idea until I really didn't. And I will be honest with you, Dawn, I had just started that training, and I didn't. I mean, it was really amazing. But I remember I just standing up there thinking to myself, I'm the keynote speaker. She's like, can you just come talk to our people? So
Definitely
thank you,
set her
Dawn.
up for success.
You kind of got me started, and I know Glenn Mills has asked me back
Yes.
a number of times, although we're a little down right
Yeah.
now because I didn't have it the second year. But anyway, so no, Dawn and I have a very, very good relationship. I reach out to her when I have questions. I think that she is, I just think it's fantastic what you're doing. It's so different, and it's taken off. And like I said, I'll take it over eventually, but just kidding. Okay.
So let's talk about servant leadership. Let's
Okay.
talk about this thing that, so many people, talk about different styles of leadership and how do I lead a team of people? You really focus on this servant leadership. So can you help us understand what servant leadership is and what it looks like when you start to implement it?
Well, I know that when I was asked to be, a supervisor, the first thing that I think about is how do I like to be supervised or led? Well, first of all, if you're asking me to do certain things in my environment, in that law enforcement analytical capacity, it's very technical. You better be able to do what I can do, or at least have a very firm grasp of it, right? So when I came up through the ranks, I never asked the people that now were working under me, to do things they couldn't do. So what I would do is I would either sit with them and help them through their problems and show them, look, this bulletin is okay, but this is a better way to do it.
Mhm.
And even though I had respect as being an analyst for so long with these people, I kept up my training. I went to trainings with them. I was always available for them when I had a number of analysts go on maternity leave for an extended period of time. And they were worried about their units, and how I said, I will be their analyst. So that is servant leadership. And it's very, very important when you become that, position doesn't make you a leader, right? How many of us have seen that? Position doesn't make you a leader. Action makes you a leader. Like the word leader is a verb, not a noun, right? That's the way I look at that. And so, I would just step in for them, and it was much appreciated by them.
And I think that that's so important. In all of this technology hoopla that happened today, I got a call from one of our staff members who said, "Hey Dawn, I know you're having some technology issues. Let me know what I can do to make it better. I'll stick around just for you."
Oh, awesome.
That, Caroline, that's leadership, right? That's leadership, being able to not have the title, but being able to step up to the plate, recognize a challenge, and stand in and hold space to be the solution. So I think you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that speaks to my next, major point is you have to establish actually relationships with these people, because what I found is they want to establish a relationship with you. And if they like you, right? If they like you, I had to write this down. So it says people go along with leaders that they get along with. And I know anybody who watches this, and you and I both know this, it's true. You'll do anything for that person, right?
Yeah.
They sit down with me, they talk with me and how my weekend was, or where are you going on vacation? It is a very big part of being a leader, not a manager, a leader.
Yes. And what you're talking about in this relationship building piece is, people are not transactions, right? And so many leaders are just like, Annie, you get this done, and Dawn, you get this done. And that's fine. But if that's the only thing you do in the relationship, it becomes transactional. And you're really saying you want to know your people, who they are, what their fears are, what their goals are, all the things to really stand in alignment with them, and as humans, not just as busybody workers, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting because if you look at like different quotes from military leaders, and here's what I kind of, capsulize it to. You want your troops to follow you into battle. You don't want to push them into battle. Right. Yeah. And that is something that was always, I'm serious. It was in the back of my mind all the time because my father was in the military and he talked about that. And, the other thing is you have to be vulnerable, right? I made a lot of mistakes. a lot of mistakes when I first started out as a supervising crime analyst. But you know what? I admitted my mistakes. I
Yeah.
was vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that when another, supervisor or manager would say that to me.
Yeah,
Hey, you,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
I
if
messed up.
well, we messed up, right? And I feel like a lot of the small business owners here, they may feel like I can't let my team know that that I don't know everything. And you're saying that's wrong. Let them know
Absolutely
that
wrong.
you don't know
100% wrong.
everything.
You know what? It's kind of like, okay, you establish a vision, right? These are vision. This is our goal. These are the expectations of my company.
Mhm.
But you don't just lay them all out. You bring them into that conversation because we're better together.
Yeah.
Okay. We are much better together, and they may have some ideas I never thought of. Happened all the time with me. So I brought them into that equation, and that's very important too. And so one of the things, and this came up the other night, and there was someone that said they've been given the position but
Mhm.
not the title yet,
Yeah.
and they're balancing back and forth, right?
Mhm.
And so I thought about this for a while, and I thought, well, the first thing you have to do is when you enter into that position is you have to exhibit confidence,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That is so important to show that confidence. And you make it, you sit down, hey, I'm here. This is what we're going to do now. Is everybody clear on this? And
Mhm.
if you're not, let's bring up any questions or concerns,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So important to be confident, even though in the back of your mind, you're
Yeah.
not confident.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But you know what?
Exactly.
Someone recognized your ability to lead.
Yep.
So don't negate that.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
think that you're not ready for it.
Mhm.
Someone saw something in you, and so believe in that.
I love that. And so what you're talking about, Annie, is our we have a leadership group, right? We have our RG leaders, and so we
Yes.
meet. Our RG leaders meet on every Tuesday to talk about these leadership concepts through our RG leadership program, which is this combination of group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and a bunch of modules that we kind of move you through, kind of these four key pillars that we move you through through
Yep.
learning leadership. And so you're talking about the Tuesday session where we had our
Yes.
round table of leaders. And yeah, confidence is one of those big things that you say, oh, am I really good enough to do this? And it kind of reminds me, if anyone has kids out there, I have a 10-year-old, so I watch kid movies. The movies sing when this little like teddy bear guy
Yeah.
is running this big huge musical, and he believes that he can restore this music and he can restore
Yeah.
this whole amphitheater thing. And even when people like he in the background, he's like running electricity to an extension cord to the neighbor's house so that he
Uh-huh.
can get electricity, and he's falling apart inside, but he still has this confidence, and it's his confidence that gives other people the confidence in themselves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what a good example of that, because it does. If you exude confidence, right? And so, okay, I work for an extremely large agency.
Mhm.
And so we would get requests that would come through the supervisors from the sheriff's office.
Mhm.
And so we had to advocate those requests, like we would vet it, right? Well, okay, you really want to see that? So by the time we passed it down to the analysts to prepare, they knew from past experience that we had vetted it. We had made sure that it was something they could do. They could fit it into their schedule. But that comes with working and,
Mhm.
working on those things. One of the things I didn't point out about another good point about servant leadership is focus from me to we,
Mhm.
right? We are a team. You
Yeah.
are you're leading the team. You're not managing the team,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
If you think you are, and you're just basically saying, no, you're going to do that because,
Mhm.
doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Exactly.
At the end of the
Exactly.
day, they can just shut down. They do.
Exactly. And when you say, oh, my company,
Yep.
the business that I run, it's funny. People will say, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, we have so much fun. We help leaders and we build confidence and we build systems. And they're like, who's we? I'm talking to you. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm thinking about my team. Like there's no way in heck that I could do this by myself.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And so, yeah, we have to acknowledge that you kind of hit the ceiling when you are an I. You can, a lot of small business owners and even in the analytical environment, you can be like the solo analyst or you can be the solo business owner and be quite well, but you're gonna hit the ceiling at some point. And it's at that point that you need to bring in the we, right? So that you can understand who the partners are, who are the people that possess a talent that you might not, who can do the work and be part of that bigger picture.
Oh
You
yeah, I'm big on that. Big on
you,
that.
you talked about vision. So we talk about this a lot. We talk about creating this vivid vision of where we want to be in 1 to 3 years. What's your experience with that, with vision and servant leadership?
Well, I will say, obviously, when I became a supervisor, we had 27 crime analysts at the time. So I was promoted to a supervisor position, and then another analyst who came from the ranks what became the crime analysis program manager. So she was my boss, right? Even though we have sworn and they're my boss and everybody's my boss kind of thing. So when her and I walked in the door, we knew the things that we didn't like about the crime analysis program, and we looked for ways to improve it. We had a certain style of crime analysis, even though all the analysts are called crime analysts. All of the analysts on LA Sheriff are really crime and intel analysts. They do it all, right? So what we did was we were on a mission. Our mission was to help those who needed help. We knew who they were. We were their peers. And so we worked on that. And we developed training for them. We developed structured training that they had never really had. And in most agencies, especially a small agency, you walk in the door and they go, "You're the crime analyst. Here you go."
Welcome. Do it all.
And that happened to every one of us. And so those of us who were seasoned, we knew what they needed to do, how they needed to perform their job to be effective, the best practices. And so we created that. We did outlines, we did everything. And then we went out and did training on our own. We sought training opportunities for them. And so I can say that we met our goal, because when I left the sheriff's department, we had 80 crime analysts.
Yeah.
And what is very interesting, okay, this is interesting because you're talking about budgets.
Mm-hmm.
So we hired, oh my gosh, I interviewed more people than you could ever even imagine.
Yeah.
That is the hardest thing to do.
That's another thing.
Oh my gosh, it's horrible in a number of ways. But what happened was the crime analysis program did not ask for those budgeted items. It was all the units, all the sworn personnel, because of how those analysts were performing. Yep. And they had put themselves in a position to be part of that team. Yes. And they were not expendable. They just needed them, and technology grew. Yeah. So that is what took it. So Homicide Bureau, hey, we want 8 analysts and we'll put it in our budget.
Yep.
Yep. The jails, we want analysts. Yeah, it just grew because of that.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple of things, and I just want to highlight them. You've mentioned the training piece. To successfully bring people on board, you want to have these systems in place that you can hand deliver. They're going to be tweaked and they're going to be changed according to someone's skill set or whatever. But if you're running a unit, you can't just walk someone through the door and say, be an analyst or be a doctor or be whatever, right? Like you have to have some kind of process or procedure for them to really, sink their teeth into. One of the things that we work with a lot with our folks over in the RG leadership program is systems, helping them, really figure out their efficiency systems, cutting out the fat, like eliminating what doesn't matter, and getting super ultra clear on the systems. And a lot of folks don't have onboarding systems. It's like some manual that no one reads, right? And so the fact that you mentioned training and, investment in the learning and the growth of your people, I think is a beautiful example of servant leadership.
Okay. Yeah.
What do our people need to get them to the next level? You know?
You know what, Don, and I think it also is a passion for
Mhm.
what you do.
Yeah.
So I'm very obviously I'm retired, but I'm not retired. And
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to continue this because I am passionate about the world I worked in, lived in for so many years. And technology is just every day there's something new.
Yeah.
And in this role, it's not even just in law enforcement. I can see it in a number of private industries. You just have to keep up,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I kind of stayed in, and I have to keep up. So I still attend trainings, because how can I train you if you
Exactly.
say, oh, she's been out of it for so long, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
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 growth doesn't stop because of whatever, right? I mean,
exactly.
I have multiple coaches. I'm in multiple programs because there's things in my life that I want to get to faster, right? Like I don't want to cut all the weeds myself. I just want someone to guide me and help me get to where I'm going. And so, yeah, we are always learning. And I have to say, one of the things I'm most happy about is you have joined our team as one of our coaches slash presenters, which is really, really exciting because you've worked with executives all over the world. I want to say have you done international work at this point?
Well, through the IACA, being a board member, we
Yep.
do a lot with, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
do.
you've done the international work, you work
Mhm.
one-on-one with large agencies, small agencies,
Yeah,
executives, really helping them to understand team, helping them to understand vision, and creating these success lists, I guess, in a sense, to get there, right? To actually get there,
yes.
and giving them momentum and movement. So I'm so excited that you've joined our team, because you can provide so much insight to those folks who are leading teams of 80 or more people, or less, right? Because you've led them all.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And you
they're,
know what, Don? I appreciate that you asked me to do this. And it's kind of interesting because it was a little out of my comfort zone.
yeah.
Like I didn't see myself as I mean, I'm a mentor,
Mhm.
but a coach is a little bit different. This is different, right? So I'm kind of learning as I go, which pretty much has been my whole career, basically. And I actually I love change. I love new things. I like to keep it fresh. I don't know why. That's just part of me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another leadership quality. Like,
Curiosity. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you have to, yeah, you got to keep it fresh, get new things, right? So
Exactly.
I'm kind of excited. It's only going to get better from here.
Exactly. I'm excited too. I think we have, the great people that are in the program right now, the people that are coming in on a regular basis, they're seeing what's going on, and they're just like, hey, we want to be a better leader. We have people in there who are not titled leaders who want to grow in their leadership. We have
Yep.
small business owners. We have people who are leading teams of people. Anyone who's looking to build that leadership, but values wellness as well. So
Yes.
incorporating in this component, this holistic approach to leadership is the model, right?
Yep.
So to be successful in career, and to be successful at home, like they can happen together, and they should. And we have a plan to get folks there. So I'm excited that you're a huge part of that. That's awesome.
No, I really, it's something that I like. I like it. I wasn't sure, real unsure of myself.
Yeah.
But last Tuesday kind of helped me get going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I go, okay, now I get it. Now I get where we're going with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about,
Yeah.
one little quick quote about servant leadership. I said this on Tuesday night, that I look to treat people the way I like to be treated,
Mhm.
right? Which is the golden rule.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
understand that practicing the golden rule enables everyone to feel respected,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be like my parting thought on that.
I think that's a great parting thought, that kindness approach, that, do what's right, even if it's the hard thing to do. We actually, my daughter and I have that mantra at night: do what's right, even if it's the hard thing to do, and
I
so,
like that. I
yeah.
like that one, because when you have to deal with discipline issues,
Yep.
that's right. As long as you're fair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, it's okay. So you brought up your daughter just now, and I want to share something. So I have two adult daughters,
Yeah.
career women, and I'm so proud of them. They're both in leadership roles, and I always just I tell them I'm so proud of you, and they said, but you set the example of it. So that's something for those who are watching this. You're a leader to your children also,
Yes.
whatever you do, and
Mhm.
so uh, what I took from the one daughter who became a leader, a manager at a very young age. She was very nervous about it. She had, a team, and then she had people that were customers that she had. And so that was a question that came up. So I reached out to her and I said, well, how did you manage? I mean, we talked about it. How did you manage it? She gave me a lot of these talking points. And then it was something I had never discussed. I mean, we discussed it, but not to that point. And she just threw them out there. And I went, I am so proud of you, right? So understand that you are not just influencing the people that you're influencing the people in your sphere, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
I love that your daughter's part of all this. And I agree. If you are a small business owner and you're walking into work stressed out every day, what do you think your team is going to feel? Right. And
Yeah.
if you're, walking into work as a leader of 80 people and you're angry and frustrated about this and that and the other thing, like, what do you think your people are going to feel? If you create these cultures of, work, 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 and you're wondering why your people are getting stressed out, like take a look in the mirror. Is
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we
So
have some interesting tips here. The knowing that you are an example, right? I think I see a dog.
you do. I didn't even know she was in the room with me, and I wouldn't have left her there because she's a beagle and they bark a lot. It's but she can't hear anything on the other side, so she seems to be okay. I have another dog laying on the floor next. I have two. I'm a dog person.
I like it. I like it.
Mhm.
So if we're talking about implementation, because I know we only have a minute or two left, if we're talking about implementation, we're talking about creating systems that are clearly outlining, the expectations, the roles and responsibilities, the processes, the vision, right? And
Yes.
communicating those. We're talking about leading by example, and delivering the energy that you want to receive back. So if you're delivering stress all the time, know that that's what you're going to get back.
Hmm.
Instead, you're saying deliver kindness and expect that back. And one of the other tips I'm remembering from our conversation today is, you know, know your people, build relationships with them, and then help them
Yes.
out. And then help them out
Hmm.
when they are out to have a baby or when they're not having a good day. Help them out. Um, the servant leaders does not mean that you're weak and people walk all over you. It's in fact quite the opposite. It's this commitment to excellence, this commitment to clarity in your communication, in your processes and responsibilities and roles and all that stuff, and knowing that you have each other's back. So that fourth piece was the we piece that I really, really like that you talked about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Focus on the we, not the me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
know that servant leadership is a huge topic. And so, of course, we can talk about this in depth. I love that you're with our team so that they can actually come to you on Tuesday nights and say, Annie, here's a current situation that I'm dealing with at my, company or agency or whatever it might be. And you can deliver some, hands-on service to them right then and there. So welcome
Okay.
again on board. I'm happy
Yeah.
that you're with us here.
I'm excited now. Now I kind of get it more. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I know it. I know it. And
Yeah.
we actually are building in this wellness component to make it super easy for
Hmm.
leaders to be well. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know in my own world as a single mom and as someone who runs my own business, sometimes I can go, 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 right? And so, I have to be very intentional about creating that leadership of self, that margin, that space just for me. And so what we decided to do is build that right into the business and hire partners to come on and not hire, but partner with partners to come on in. And we have a chef coming in to talk about plant-based food. Yeah, plant-based batching, like food batching for those of folks who, health and nutrition is part of your
Yes.
deal. And all kinds of things to really put that wellness component on the forefront. right? Because,
Yes.
we think about, I would say 80% of the leaders that I talk to are stressed out. They're overworked, they're burnt out, they're stressed out. And so we need to, one, create the systems, two, get them super clear on who they are as a human and as a business owner or supervisor, and three, have fun, laugh a
Yes.
little.
Oh, if you come to anything I do, I have fun. I'm all about that. I've always been about that.
I think that's what attracted me to your video, because I was like, oh, she's smiling. I don't remember when the last time I smiled was, and you were just so happy. And I was like, I want that. I want to be happy.
You were so down, Dawn. You were.
I was, and life is so different now. It's
I know.
phenomenal. And
But you know what? You built it. Like,
yes,
and I think I've done the same thing. I knew what I wanted to do when I retired. You build it. You don't look backward, look forward.
Yeah. It's like that rear view mirror thing, like the windshield, right, is the big glass that you look through, and you only look at that rear view mirror just every once in a while, kind of take a peek and make sure you're not repeating, right? But the big view is that front windshield. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And you just keep moving forward, and you don't let mistakes, you just learn from those. You just go, you just do it. What do you, I mean, when you started a business and I started a business, I went, what do I have to lose?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Yeah.
Yes. So you and I are on the same page. You and I are on the same page.
Well, I feel like we have some really good tips that our folks can walk away with. And otherwise I'd be here for hours with you. So I'm gonna pause us here and thank you so much for coming on here and sharing just a smidgen of your insight and more with our team as you get fully integrated into our program. So thank you, Annie, for
thank you, Dawn. Thank you, everyone. I hope to talk to you on a Tuesday night.
Yes, it sounds good. And thank you all for being incredibly patient with with all the hiccups that we had in technology. And this is actually pretty nice because we'll post this up on our YouTube page so that folks who might not be in Facebook yet can kind of see some of the stuff that we do and hopefully gain value and can walk away with these key action steps into their own leadership.
Yeah. And don't worry, I can take over your Facebook Live. My account's just fine.
Done. I love it. You're the best, Annie. Thank you so much. And we'll see you real soon. We'll see you Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.